What's up, everybody? It is Rick Kamla. Welcome to the SportsEthos NBA Show with your boy, Kam. We got a lot to talk about this week. Kevin Durant stuff is popping. We got some bonus news. Your boy, Cam's got a lot of vibes for you. Tell everybody about this. Retweet it. Let them know I'm on the air right now talking hoops. This is not a fantasy show. This is a reality show, okay? We do the fantasy thing with Doc. We do the fantasy thing with Brew. But this is a reality show, and I'm having a lot of fun, and it's great to have you guys and girls along for the ride. Brandon Scoop B. Robinson, NBA Insider, will join us in about 20 minutes, about 11:20 p.m., a.m. Eastern Time. Want to tell you about our great sponsor, BetOnline. They're the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds and everything from the NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. We start with some breaking news about Domantas Sabonis of the Sacramento Kings. Grade 1 left hamstring strain, suffered Saturday against Houston. He's out indefinitely. The team's going to provide an update in 1 week. An update doesn't mean a lot. It means he's going to miss some time here. And, you know, time is shrinking with the rest of the regular season. We're, I guess, just a little bit over a month out. And this may be a monther for Sabonis. Obviously having a historic season, 20 points, 14 boards, 6 dimes a game. Should have been an all-star. And just quickly, like, everybody's so quick to play the Norman Powell card, and he was on my all-star bingo card. But not over Domantas Sabonis, man. Like, y'all got to get that right. Everybody keeps bringing up, man, LeBron could have just let somebody else. It was Sabonis. It was not Powell, all right? All right. But this is a huge hit to the Sacramento Kings, man. Sabonis is their best player, the hub of their offense. Sacramento is in good shape, though. They're in 9th place. They're 31-28. I've liked the spark of this team. They don't play any defense outside of Keon Ellis, Bruce guy. But, you know, they're fun to watch. They put points on the board. They're competitive, okay? Like, I'm not mad at the Sacramento product, okay? I'm mad at Brooklyn's product, right? But when Cam Thomas plays, I'm okay with Brooklyn's product. But Sac is 31-28. They're 4 games ahead of the dying Phoenix Suns, who are in 11th place right now. So there's a nice separation there. They're going to make the play-in tournament and probably not win out, okay? They got to get Sabonis back. And on the player side, I'm looking for DeMar DeRozan to really become the go-to guy now. Like, I see a lot of 25s, 27s, 30s, 33s. Like, I think the scoring is going to multiply here for DeMar DeRozan. And Malik Monk, I think, is going to be ultra-activated now because when Monk's got Levine and he's got DeRozan and he's got Sabonis, he's got to kind of be in blend-in mode. And now Fox is gone, Sabonis is out. And I know you got Levine and you got DeRozan, but Monk's going to be doing a lot of ball handling and I think really be activated here. I think Malik Monk is going to hit a high note here for the Sacramento Kings. Sabonis, one of my favorite players, and I wish him well, man. I really do. Hopefully this can be a couple 3-week thing. We'll just have to see, guys. All right, let's get into Denver and Boston yesterday. Huge game, absolute showdown. Got some takeaways for you. This could have been a finals matchup last year. I believe it was my finals prediction last year, something like that. But, you know, we thought we were on a collision course last year. The Wolves had other ideas, knocking Denver out in round 2 last year. You know, was that a finals preview yesterday? I don't believe so, but it's really, really close. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Boston and Denver met at the mountaintop. This game was a little weird because you did not have Aaron Gordon. You did not have Kristaps Porzingis, I roll. And you did not have Drew Holiday. Wait a minute. Even when he plays, Boston doesn't have. I'm kidding. I love Drew Holiday, but I mean, where are we going with Drew Holiday's game, guys? It is not what it used to be. Hold that thought when I get to some worries about Boston. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I freaking love these guys, and I have for a long, long time. Year 1 with Antonio Daniels on NBA radio. I said, and I didn't think it was bold, he did. I said, Tatum and Brown are going to win a chip together in, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years. And he's like, what? And I was like, yep, book it. And at the time, they were like going to the East Finals and like on the way up, right? I love these guys. I have for a long, long time. They're my dudes, especially Jaylen Brown. They call him old man. They were just better than Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Tatum, I mean, the line wasn't fat, but it was solid. 16, 11, and 7. He really does a great job of, okay, the ball's not falling for me. I'll ramp up the boards. I'll ramp up the dimes. He's there as a player. You know what I mean? Where, okay, like you've got a counterpunch. You want to win the game, or do you want to just take the punch and go home with an L? The greats adjust and find a way. Tatum's one of those guys. Boston snapped a 2-game losing streak, which they needed to badly. Like, okay, is their season over if they lose 3 in a row? No, but that's not how they roll. Boston ain't trying to go on 3-game, losers. That's just not how they roll. So that was a pretty clutch win for Boston, especially without Porzingis and without Drew Holiday. Boston had won the previous 6, so we're not talking about some kind of flawed team. Although bench-wise, I think they might be a little flawed. I'll get to that in a minute. Al Horford was a real plus yesterday and deserves a shout-out because it's like, again, with Holiday, it's like, Al, where are we going with this? You going to be ready for the 2-month climb here in April, May and June? You're going to be ready? You're out. So he went 19-8 with 3 steals yesterday. That was pretty cool. Denver really missed Aaron Gordon, who's been balling for them. And in a game like this against Tatum and Brown, you really need a guy like Aaron Gordon. I do not think that was a finals preview. Cleveland and Oklahoma City are going to meet in the finals. Hold that thought. I want to get into the Lakers here. I want to circle back to that Cleveland and OKC thought because the Lakers lost Austin Reeves over the weekend. Injury suffered Friday night against the Clippers, had to leave the game. They did an MRI. Thankfully, the MRI did not reveal anything serious with his calf injury, but he did sit out Sunday's game against the Clippers. He's day-to-day, so we'll see here. I'm very happy that there's no reporting of out indefinitely, because that's when you're like, uh-oh. I'm not really uh-oh here with Reeves. Hopefully it's a little speed bump, and this guy loves the game, and he's going to really fight hard to get back and not milk an injury like a lot of my favorite players. The Lakers have won 6 games in a row, guys. Did you see what I did? I'm in such a good mood. I didn't even go down that road and like bang on guys. You said it's not provoked. You're right, it wasn't provoked. I'm in a good mood. Had a great weekend. Happy to be on with you guys. It is the SportsEthos NBA Show with Rick Kamla. All right, so no one's catching strays right now. The Lakers have won 6 games in a row. Sweep the Clippers over the weekend. The Lakers are number 2 in the West. They passed Denver with Denver's loss to Boston and with the Lakers win last night. Luka was awesome, 29, 6, and 9 with 5 threes. The shot is starting to come around for him. Clearly, the legs are starting to get under him. Clearly, being with the Lakers is causing Luka to focus a little bit, okay? Dalton Connect had a big game, 19 points, 5 3 balls, and he's going to need more of that without Austin Reeves. And that was really crucial that he stepped up with that game because Rui Hachimura did not play Sunday night against the Clippers either. Who is the biggest threat to Oklahoma City in the West? Is it the Lakers or is it the Nuggets? I still say it's the Nuggets because when they're whole and you have Westbrook off the bench and you have Peyton Watson off the bench. I mean, I don't love their bench, all right? I don't. Strother's kind of coming on this year a little bit. I don't know, man. I feel like Denver's core 4 is better than the Lakers' core 4. And are Jamal Murray and Jokic better than, Luka and LeBron? No. However, you know that every time Jamal Murray plays the Lakers, he goes off and hits game winners and he becomes like freaking Kyrie Irving, right? He becomes an absolute superstar. But when you go to Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon versus Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves, I'd rather have the Denver guys. And LA's not real deep either, okay? These teams go about 6, 7, 8, and that's about as far as they can stretch with that depth. That is, of course, unless the Lakers decide to dust off Bronny. Yes, jokes here early on a Monday morning, but I still think Denver's the bigger threat to OKC in the West. It's close, but the fact that the Lakers have Jackson Hayes at center is just always going to be a hang-up for me, unless, somehow they can go out there and prove me wrong. Riffin here with your boy Kam, SportsEthos NBA Show. Jalen Suggs, guys. I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So he was out with a concussion. Andre, keep me honest on this. Shout out to Andre Lebouche, my partner in podcast. Love me some Andre. Andre, keep me honest with this. So with Suggs, it was a concussion. Came back. First game back, it was a quad. And didn't return from that. And now we find out that he will undergo surgery to remove a cartilage fragment in his left knee and is out indefinitely. Okay? Like, how? That wasn't even something he was missing time with. So let me see here. His return's going to be based on rehab. The Magic announced, It was a trochlea injury in the knee before discovering cartilage fragment in the joint. Whatever. I don't like hearing remove a cartilage fragment in his left knee. I'm not saying I'm not a doctor, okay, but I'm an ACL guy. I know knee injuries, okay, and when you remove the cartilage, that cartilage doesn't grow back, and so a lot of guys, they have too much of that removed, and then it's bone on bone, and they have to retire. So I'm not putting that on Suggs. I'm just saying when I see remove, I like to see repair, not remove. That concerns me a little bit. But Suggs is my guy, man. The problem is his attendance. His attendance has been god-awful 3 of the last 4 years, his 4 years in the league. Last year he played 75 games, broke out, all defensive guy, it's all good. And didn't back it up this year. I mean, he did when he played, but wow, what a lost season for Jalen Suggs. Orlando is Dunsky, okay? They need him. He's their spirit animal. He's their Draymond Green. Like Marcus Smart was to Boston, what Tony Allen was to the Grindhouse, okay? They need that guy. What Pat Bev has been to several of the teams he's been on. They don't have that right now. They're missing it. They're dying without it, okay? It's like a human without oxygen, plasma, and, I don't know, white blood cells. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying here, but you get the point. Orlando's destined to lose in the play-in tournament. They just don't have enough scoring. They're going to make it. They're in 8th place. They're 29-33. I wish my guy Jalen Suggs well. I don't think he's going to play again this year, guys. All right, let's move on to the Kammy of the week. It is to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, stand up and take a bow. My God, okay? 10 wins in a row. Seems like they've done that like 4 times this year. They beat Portland on Sunday in overtime. No Donovan Mitchell. They had to survive a triple-double by Denny Avdia. Who is the best team in the East? It's Cleveland, guys. It's Cleveland. They get the comeback win over Boston. Was that Friday night? I think it was Friday night. Okay? Huge comeback win. I'm like, oh, look at you, Boston. Okay. And then, because I was out that night, and then I was kind of following it on my phone. I'm like, what? Cleveland won that game? And then I watched the game later. These guys are roughnecks, man. They are, okay? They are clearly better than New York. They're 2-0 against New York this year, all right? They are 2-2 with Boston, each team winning on the road, okay? So it's a very split, very even head-to-head series between these teams. Boston clearly has the edge when it comes to championship DNA, playoff experience, know-how in those moments. Cleveland doesn't have that yet, okay? But we're talking about what we're seeing right now. Cleveland is authoring up a historic season. They're 50-10. Their point differential is 11.5. It's one of the best of all time. They have star power. They're perfectly built. You have the duo, then you expand out to the core 4, then you expand out with depth with a lot of 3-and-D. They're perfectly built. They have defense. They have shooting. They have coaching. Kenny A's going to win Coach of the Year. They have chemistry, okay? There's a love fest between the team, between the city, the whole thing. And they're beyond deep. I think I mentioned that, right? It's worth another shot. They have been to the playoffs twice already with this group, and they have failed, okay? But it's important that they have been to the playoffs together with this group. Houston has not, and that's going to be a problem for them as they learn their way through the playoff treachery, right? It's probably not going to go well for Houston this year because of that. I love Houston, but you don't, hey, first playoff series ever we played together, and you go out and beat some team that's been in the playoffs every year for 10 years. It just usually doesn't happen that way. Cleveland doesn't really have to worry about that, okay? Their big thing is Boston. Can they get over Boston? And I know Knicks fans are like, yes, they're better than you, okay? Their depth. Like, on one of these games where New York is hitting you with campaign with 3 points, and Miles McBride isn't shooting well and has 5 points. and you have maybe Precious Achiuwa, and you have maybe Mitchell Robinson, and then Cleveland's hitting you with Ty Jerome and Dean Wade and Sam Merrill and Isaac Okoro and DeAndre Hunter and, Max Strus is the fifth star. Stop it. It's way better than in New York. Hey, what about Landry Shamet? I mean, I like Landry Shamet, but come on, get out of here with Landry Shamet, all right? And look, New York's got a core four, right? Brunson, Cat, I don't know. They really got that five. Bridges would be in there, and then OG or Hart, okay? Well, guess what? Cleveland's got that too. They've got a four-pack of all-stars in their core four. 3 of them this year. Jared Allen has been an all-star. All right, worries for Boston, guys. Drew Holiday. Where's your game at, bro? I'm just not seeing it. They call him Mr. Corner 3 in Boston. I don't see a lot beyond that, okay? Defensively, he's not what he once was. Maybe he can flip a switch. That's a concern for me. Porzingis' health. Boom. Missed the Denver game. Why? I don't even know. It's Porzingis. Of course he's going to miss games, all right? And then Al Horford. The play is so up and down. Kicked ass yesterday, but is he going to be able to sustain that? And for New York, worries for them. Told you about the depth. And they're too reliant on Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. And for fantasy basketball, it's amazing. But are they going to wear down? Okay. And especially in a rugged series with a physical team like Cleveland that defends you, will they wear down a little bit? Can Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby play the whole game, all right, and defend at a super high level and still score between 15 and 20 every night? Not here and there every night, okay? Look, I love New York. I love the way they're built. I love the way Tibbs culture, the whole thing. I'm into it, okay? But are they better than Cleveland? No, they're not. Not to me. If you go out and get Jordan Clarkson at the deadline, I'm looking at this team differently. I do not like their bench. I've been saying it all year, okay? All year. Miles McBride has these spike games, and then he's like, yo, I'm Miles McBride. I can't do this every night, right? Finals prediction for you guys. And down the stretch they come. It is the SportsEthos NBA Show with Rick Kamla. OKC over Cleveland. And I've been on a Boston thing, and I may regret getting off that, but I'm off that. Okay, like the concerns that I just mentioned right here. Last year, Boston was on a mission. The on a mission thing is so freaking powerful, all right? It's happened many, many times in NBA history, and it just creates juggernauts, okay? Boston was untouched in the playoffs last year. So, will that happen again? No. Why? Hunger, motivation, okay? And I know that, they're still in this. I'm not saying they can't do this. I'm just saying I don't think they're going to have the massive chip on their shoulder this year that they did last year. Okay. That to me is going to open up the door for a Cleveland to beat them. Will Cleveland beat them? I am predicting it right now. They're better than Boston. Okay. I believe they are. So Cleveland's going to beat Boston in the East Finals. New York is going to lose to one of them in the second round. OKC is going to beat Denver in the West Finals. The Lakers are going to lose to OKC in round 2, unless and so LA's number 2 right now, right? But if they drift back to 4, then you're looking at a second rounder against OKC. No bueno, okay? You want to be in that 2 hole, so you play 2 versus 3, and then you branch out from there. As opposed to getting into the OKC side of the bracket, you want to get to the other side of the bracket and then meet OKC if it goes your way, in the West Finals. So, look, man, Cleveland is absolutely dominant, and it is super, super fun. And I believe they are on a collision course, OKC and Cleveland. So let's welcome in my dear friend right now, Brandon Scoop B. Robinson, to the SportsEthos NBA Show with Rick Kamla. Scoop, what's up, dude? You're looking great, man.
Thank you. I knew I was going to see you, so I had to come correct, brother. What's up?
I like it. I like it. That's a nice shirt, man. That's a nice shirt. You're ready for the party with that shirt, man. I like it.
I am. The Kamla party on SportsEthos.
Let's go, man. Let's go. All right, so talk to me about this Kevin Durant stuff. I got a bunch of topics for you here, Brandon, but this is the juicy stuff. You're an NBA insider, have been for years, one of the best in the biz. I'm not going to ask you, do you know where he's going to end up and all this? Just open canvas for you. Here's the paintbrush. How are you viewing this Kevin Durant thing?
Well, during the whole NBA trade deadline and over the last couple of years, I've just compiled some things. And I know that prior to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving ultimately finding their ways to their respective teams, the two of them believed that they could be teammates elsewhere after leaving Brooklyn. And the Phoenix Suns was a team that they both discussed quite at a lengthy conversation, and it didn't happen that way. I know that I'm told that Sean Marks and James Jones did have a conversation on the phone at the deadline when they were ultimately moved to their respective teams. And I know that James Jones did not want Kyrie Irving, and I'm told that Sean Marks did not want DeAndre Ayton. And ultimately, those conversations escalated to their respective team owners on the Sun side and the Nets side, having conversation, that being one, and Matt Ishbia on the Phoenix side, and then Joe Tsai on the Nets side. And I know that they ultimately did get a deal done, but it was more along the lines of Kevin Durant finding his way to the Phoenix Suns. And then ultimately later on, Kyrie going to Dallas. And I know that back in the summertime, Woj had put out a report that said that the Houston Rockets could be a team that ultimately could get Kevin Durant. And this was during draft time. And I had conversation with someone right after that tweet was put out, who's in the know, and they indicated to me, don't rule out the Dallas Mavericks, don't rule out the Chicago Bulls, and there was another team out there that I can't remember the tweet, but the tweet was in June of last year. And so we move on to this season and see all the turmoil that's going on. Of course, you see Luka find his way to the Los Angeles Lakers. I had put out a report in August of last year around that time that, it's a possibility based upon, things that would have to move in place. And so when you look at the Luka move as kind of the line of demarcation, then you go back to what I said about Kevin Durant. And then at the trade deadline, I know that, in conversation with folks in Phoenix, I know that the Washington Wizards did reach out to Kevin Durant, or rather the Suns, about Kevin Durant. And, it was intimated to me that just because teams are reaching out and that the Suns are entertaining calls from other teams, it gives off the notion that the Suns are looking to, part ways. And, I know that the Suns did reach or did have a conversation with the Wizards. I also know that the Dallas Mavericks did reach out to him, to the Suns as well. And ultimately, Matt Ishbia did assure Kevin Durant that they weren't going to trade him at the deadline. But that's the deadline. Here we go into, the offseason, and, his contract is a lot more attractive with 1 year remaining. And so, in answer to your question, I think the Dallas Mavericks will still be buyers. I know that Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis did have a conversation back in 2017, 2018, when Kyrie was still a member of the Boston Celtics, about potentially teaming up there. And this was back when Dad Fouché was still Anthony Davis's agent, and he also, he moved on, and Rich Paul is his agent. So there was a different, I don't want to say agenda, but a different storyline that took place from there. Fast forward 2024, 2025. Now Anthony Davis and Kyrie are teammates, and I do believe that the Dallas Mavericks will be revisiting those conversations with the Phoenix Suns pertaining to Kevin Durant.
Amazing stuff right there. Brandon Scoopy Robinson hanging out with Kam on the SportsEthos NBA Show with Rick Kamla. Scoop, man, I want to go back to Dallas here, all right? Because this is really sexy to potentially bring together Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis, okay? We'll never forgive the Mavs for trading Luka Doncic, right? I'm not a Luka guy. I'm not all bunged up that way about it, but I just thought it was a horrible trade. I hated the thought process that went into the trade that's been reported. I just think it's very short-sighted and impatient and just really, really wrong. So let's go to Dallas here, okay? Do they have what it takes to get a Kevin Durant? I would guess that maybe Lively would be in that trade, and I know they don't want to give him up. I don't know, maybe a Max Christie. Would you have to give up a PJ Washington? Does Dallas even have the assets here? Gafford's going to be entering the last year in his deal. They probably just need to get him healthy and extend him. But could you see maybe a Derek Lively, a Max Christie? I don't know about the allotment of draft picks that Dallas has, but do they have the goods to go get a Kevin Durant if that's how this goes?
Well, first of all, to your first point about Dallas, I think that trade in the long run, assuming that Kyrie does stay long term and Anthony Davis is healthy, I think that if they're able to bring in a marquee guy like Kevin Durant, to Dallas. I believe that the trade will look back on it and potentially say that the trade worked out for both sides, at least in the short term. The long term, you obviously know that Luka Doncic is going to be brought to LA to be the face of the Lakers for the long term, for the next 5 to 10 years, assuming he, resigns and all of that good stuff. That being said, in answer to your second question, I would imagine that a package that or a conversation with a package that starts with Derek Lively as well as Marshall as well as Washington would be a starter in a conversation with Phoenix, because Kevin Durant is still playing well. It's not like he's, and I mean this respectfully, it's not like you're bringing in Tracy McGrady playing for the San Antonio Spurs at that point in his career. We know
Right.
the Tracy McGrady that was Orlando and Houston at large. You're still bringing in a Kevin Durant that still has a great skill set and can guide teams. And I think that one thing I'll add about the Dallas Mavericks specifically when it relates to Kyrie Irving is this. When he was brought in to Dallas and he was re-signed, the conversation that he was having with the Mavs was a conversation about not just being a player, a marquee player, but being a recruiter. And you saw that in the offseason, this past season, where he was instrumental and vocal in bringing in Klay Thompson to the fold in Dallas. Klay Thompson and Kyrie both, if you followed my reporting, I can say that they both are wearers of the Anta sneaker brand that has grown exponentially since Kyrie Irving joined the team. And it's now sold in the United States. And it was private prior to this was only sold online. Now you can get it at Dick's Sporting Goods, Foot Locker, and more. And so they have a relationship going back to Team USA basketball, probably even before. But I know that Kyrie was very vocal in getting Klay Thompson to come to Dallas. And so when I see that portion of it, he already has a direct line into Kevin Durant. And I'll tell you that, I know that during their decision making in 2019, when Kyrie was part of the Celtics and when Kevin Durant was still a Warrior, they spent a lot of time together in Charlotte during NBA All-Star Weekend. I was actually at a party with them, the Jordan Brand party, and they were inseparable, talking a lot about basketball, talking a lot about life, and aligning their goals. And it would be interesting to see a part 2 to that, because I think, in New York City, particularly with COVID, an Amazon link that was tweeted by Kyrie, and just coming up short against the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA playoffs, there was a perception that Kyrie and Kevin were not on the same page, and even that Kyrie and James Harden were not friends, and that those myths I've dispelled on social media just from what I know. But specifically to Kai and Kevin in Dallas, there's a mutual interest. It just has to make sense for the Mavs and the Phoenix Suns. I'm told, specifically because this was reported yesterday that the Suns will try to acquiesce to what Kevin Durant wants in the offseason of a team of his choice. So it'll be interesting to see. But I know that Dallas is definitely on that list.
If Brandon Scoopy Robinson, NBA insider, I'm with Kam on the SportsEthos NBA show. If you're Dallas and you give up PJ Washington, it's easier because you're bringing in Durant. Okay, he's basically going to slot in at the same position. You put a 3-and-D out there with Davis, with Kyrie, with Durant. Put a couple 3-and-Ds out there with those guys, and you're good to go. Maybe Davis will insist on a center. Okay, that's Daniel Gafford or Lively. If I'm Phoenix and Dallas said, we'll give you PJ Washington, Lively or Gafford. I'd rather have Lively because he's younger, but I love them both. And, some picks and maybe another dude. Yeah, I'm doing that, okay? Because I have to trade him. I got to take somebody's offer out here. I like those players. Phoenix doesn't have guys like that. They don't have a super versatile Swiss Army knife guy like PJ Washington who can guard at a high level, can have 30-point games. And obviously they need a center. Okay, it's been a huge odyssey all year in the hole for Phoenix. Scoop, what about Houston? Okay, for a Kevin Durant trade here, Jalen Green would be, I would imagine, a big target for Phoenix. Maybe they would try to go get a Reed Shepherd. If I were Phoenix, I would definitely try to, hey, throw Cam Whitmore in the deal. You guys never play him. Okay. I freaking love Cam Whitmore, Scoop. And so, like, but then I go back to Scoop. Why would Houston do that, right? They're doing the OKC thing, the slow build, the organic build. They got such a rock star young team. Do they even need to go get Kevin Durant? Talk to me.
That's why I think Dallas would make more sense. I was on the phone with a very trusted NBA fixture last night, and we were literally having this same conversation that we're having now. And you know, their retort to me with Houston was, if I was Houston, I wouldn't do it. And for that same reason, because you're building chemistry. Like, you know, the two things that I think Kevin Durant has in common with the Houston Rockets is Ime Udoka, who was an assistant coach in Brooklyn when Kevin was there, and Royal Ivey, who is Kevin Durant's best friend. Kevin Durant is also Royal Ivey's daughter's godfather. And this was the same logic years ago when many people thought that KD was going to the New York Knicks. Royal was an assistant coach in Manhattan with the New York Knicks, and you know, it didn't happen. So I know those. I just want to put that out there because those alliances are there. I think when you look at the Mavs, there are some other alliances there also. Kyrie being the biggest one. Jay Kidd, who Kevin played on Team USA with, I believe, and just other fixtures. He's an NBA lifer. On the Houston side, you tear up that team, you run the risk of potentially messing up chemistry. And so I think getting rid of Jalen Green, you're gutting. You begin to gut. It kind of reminds me of maybe this isn't the best example, but you talk about Oklahoma and you talk about, like, I feel like if the Houston Rockets were to trade to get Kevin Durant, it would be Paul George and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander Part 2. Look at how well Shai Gilgeous-Alexander flourished in Oklahoma. And I think his time with the Clippers elevated his play, being around Chris Paul and all those other guys in LA, and then going to Oklahoma and taking the crown. Like, that was a gift. And I feel like if Jalen Green were to go to Phoenix, it would be the same kind of situation in Phoenix. And I don't think Houston should go that route. I really think if it's not broke, you don't fix it, and you let those guys grow.
It's a great point, man. I was hot on that for a minute, and then it was actually in the off season, and I've joked about that. Houston was my little team that could this year, Scoop. They were just, I love the build of their roster, and I was telling everybody they're going to overachieve. I didn't know that they'd be second in the West, you know, for as long as they were, but I did see a little spike from Houston this year. All right, let's switch gears here. Scoop, I want to ask you about, I was kind of riffing before you came on here about how I'm viewing down the stretch. Do you feel like Cleveland and OKC, who are historically dominant basketball teams right now with the point differential, the records, I mean, they're just destroying teams, okay? And it's very, very impressive to me. And so I do believe that those two teams are on a collision course for the NBA Finals. Do you see it the same way?
Yes. I think we as a basketball community have to stop always thinking the Lakers are going to the finals every year. And the same can be said about the Celtics, although the Celtics are the reigning champs, and to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. But I think you've seen a shift happening over the last 3 seasons with the next generation taking the baton and the youth movement. It kind of I was having this conversation with a friend of mine who's not in the industry, but we talk a lot about basketball because I'm their friend. And I said, this reminds me so much of 2014, where the baton was being passed, where you had Kevin Durant, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry. Literally the very next year, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson won the NBA championship in 2015 against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and them being, of course, members of the Golden State Warriors at the time. Kyrie Irving was also part of that class in 2014. This was in 2014 in an All-Star game where you had Tim Hardaway Jr. and Deion Waiters going at it, and Mason Plumlee participating in that rookie sophomore game. And now Mason Plumlee is an elder statesman, so to speak, or a respected vet in Phoenix. And I think this is a similar baton passing in the same vein. Back then, the stars of the league were Joe Johnson, Joakim Noah, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, and more. And so all those guys that I mentioned previously were on the rise. And I think you're seeing a similar baton passing now, where you have the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders, you have the Donovan Mitchells, you have the Chet Holmgrens, you have the Ja Morants, all of these guys who are now respecting the elder statesmen that are, Steph Curry, LeBron James, if you will. We're honoring Andre Iguodala with the jersey retirement at this point. It's as they say in The Lion King, it's the circle of life. And so I think when you look at that circle of life, I think, a couple of seasons ago, Miami and Denver was that line of demarcation of the fact that it's not just the Lakers, it's not just Kevin Durant. You still do have the Minnesotas of the world. You have, a myriad of things. But even with that being said, I still go back to Boston. They're a young team that has an old soul, and they have a mixture of OGs, young guys, and vets on that team. And it is very difficult to repeat as champions in the NBA. And there's a lot of ebbs and flows. And, to win 50 games at this point in the season in Cleveland, and to have a coach, Kenny Atkinson, who, I think waited his time, turned down the Charlotte Hornets job, and got more money to stay in Golden State and be patient. I think he should be rewarded, and his team is doing the work. You have, as you mentioned on your show, I was listening before I came on, you don't just have, Donovan Mitchell, you have Isaac Okoro, you have Jared Allen. You made that trade with Atlanta, and I think that's going to prove to be dividends. He's going to be their version of Daniel Gafford in the playoffs. So I think, we saw what those two teams can do in the regular season going against each other. It felt like an NBA Super Bowl of its own. And it was with lower tier markets. And I don't have a problem with lower tier markets. I think, we're always talking about Boston. We're always talking about New York. We're always talking about LA. You being from Minneapolis, I have respect for the Timberwolves. It's just not their time right now. And I'll add that that's another team, by the way, also that should be contacting the Phoenix Suns as well, and about Kevin Durant. But, as it relates to smaller market teams, Denver showed you that that's possible. And I'd love to see Cleveland, Oklahoma, even though some of our media colleagues may not agree or like that. I think it'll be interesting.
And that makes me want it even more, because you know what? It would really rankle the people up in Bristol, wouldn't it? It would be non-Northeast. It would be non-big market. They would freaking hate it up in Bristol, and that would make me love it even more. You mentioned Denver, right? Milwaukee just got a chip. What was it, 21? Okay, small market. Toronto got a chip. They had never won one before, going back to 2019. So we've had breakthroughs, and we've had teams that you just don't look at with that golden luster win. And so maybe this year, it just looks like OKC's year. I don't have Cleveland beating OKC, but I do have Cleveland in the NBA Finals. So, Scoop, I got to let you go here. It's been 20. I don't want to gobble up too much of your day here, man. Tell everybody where to watch you, where to read you, where to see you, what you got popping right now.
Scoopy Radio. You can check it out on all streaming platforms. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Scoopy TV. Interviews every week. In addition to that, Scoopy.com, the blog at Scoopy.com. We dropped last week an interview with Ron Harper. We talked about his kid, Dylan Harper, who was a top 3 pick in the draft. Talked about his career. There's actually a part 2 of our interview that's going to drop at Scoopy.com on Thursday. Yeah, man, just a lot of new things coming. I got a mini doc coming out in April that I'm dropping. So a lot of moving parts moving. And yeah, that's where you can check everything out.
What you said, mid-April?
Yeah, it'll drop April 10th. The trailer drops April 1st.
I believe we're going to take this. I'm not sure how long we're taking the show, but We may still be like up, like, because with the regular season and stuff and the playoffs, there will be a transition going on there at some sorts. But like, I'd love to have you back on if we can work that out, so you can kind of let everybody know about it on another platform. Where we can sing your song and promote that thing. So let's have you back on. I don't know, a month or so.
I'm with it.
Cool.
Yes,
cool.
Sir.
Scoop, you the man. Safe travels. I'm being told we will. So we're gonna be continuing to steamroll down the tracks with this show.
Sir.
Awesome news, Andre. All right, Scoop. Love you, man. Really appreciate your time. Phenomenal intel as usual, and have a blessed rest of your day, man.
Brother, you too. Thank you for the opportunity to be myself.
You always are. I love you, man. That is Scoop B. Robinson. Peace, my brother. Oh, that guy's good stuff, man. That guy's good stuff. Follow him, become a fan of his, and you'll really enjoy it. All right. It is time for Rick's Rant. Who is to blame in Phoenix? And should the Suns trade Kevin Durant? Well, we've talked a lot about that. Heck yes, they should trade Kevin Durant. Shams Charania reported over the weekend that Kevin Durant and the Suns are expected to work together to trade him to a contender this offseason. So we do not get a Shams bomb or a Woj bomb about Kevin Durant asking a trade. Remember the Brooklyn days? Remember Adam Silver saying, I don't like that, okay? And so people are getting with it, right? Like, don't go to Woj or Shams and sink your team's battleship. Work with your team, and the team will work with you, and do it in the boardroom, okay? So they're complying with Adam's plan here. So Shams said the stakes are high unless there's a significant run here, I roll, into the playoffs for the Suns. League sources believe there will be real changes in Phoenix. From a roster standpoint, that likely starts with Kevin Durant from Shams. He also says, I would expect 4 to 6 contending teams with some serious involvement in Durant. Now, Kevin Durant, last night, after getting trucked by the Minnesota Timberwolves, the lame, rotting carcass that is the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant says, we didn't play up to our standards at all. We embarrassed the fans and we embarrassed ourselves with the way we played. I want us to be better. It's on like Donkey Kong, okay? More on the KD trade as we continue on here. Who's to blame? Matt Ishbia is to blame. It was a horrible idea to bring in Bradley Beal. I said this on NBA radio when the trade went down, okay? Oh, breaking news. The Suns have traded for Bradley Beal. I hate the deal. I need to sleep on that. I didn't need to sleep on it. Bradley Beal's joining forces with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. How is that going to work? It's stupid. It's offense on offense on offense. You got 3 30-point per game guys. Congratulations. You're not going to win with that, okay? It was just a stupid idea. You already have 60 points a night from Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. You don't need another scorer, okay? The Suns have asked Bradley Beal to be a third option, to be a bench player, and to be a point guard. That's so stupid. He's none of those things, okay? He's maybe flirted at times with being a little bit of a point guard, maybe in the Washington days, that much, right? Because you had Westbrook there, you had John Wall there. It's just dumb. I'm going to trade for Kristaps Porzingis, and I'm going to put the ball in his hands. He's going to bring it up the court, and he's going to initiate offense. Wrong answer, bro. It's just so wildly stupid to ask a player to be so not himself and out of character. Guys, in today's NBA, the best formula is the dynamic duo surrounded by the strong second layer, which comprises a core 4, and then 3 and D around that. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Perfectly built team. So I was asked by Dwayne Rankin, Suns Insider, where this season ranks with recent disappointments. And I told him, I would not rank these Suns among the most disappointing teams this year, recent memory of all time, because I never had any expectations for them in the first place. None, okay? I have never bought into this theory, this myth, this hype that the 2024-25 Suns were going to do anything, okay? Because they don't fit, all right? One of the big threes always out of the lineup, just like the Brooklyn days. And you should have been playing ball a lot earlier this year, you dummies. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. But you can't be disappointed by something if you had no expectations in the first place. It's when you have expectations that get let down, that's when you get disappointed. And I've experienced none of that with Phoenix. They are like Denny Green, the late great Denny Green said, boom, they are who we thought they were. I thought they'd be a mediocre ass team, and they're a mediocre ass team. What should be the first 3 moves for the Phoenix Suns after this season? Well, number 1 is trading Kevin Durant. And I'm going to Dallas because I like everything Scoop had to say. I'm off the Houston thing. I don't want my plucky little team that could, the Rockets, making the Durant trade. I want them to take the OKC approach here. Just build a completely badass, young, deep team with a bunch of draft picks and at any point you can like push the big trade button, right? Because you've got all these assets, right? Just keep it moving. Just keep it moving the way you don't like next year if you come back and it starts, I don't know, maybe then but you don't need to right now, dude. You've got a rocket ship attached to your back, literally going like that. Okay. So, but I like the Dallas thing because Kevin Durant's timeline would fit with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving's timeline. I like that. It's 3 old guns, trying to win a chip together. It's 3 of the best to ever play. Okay. And all still with a lot of game left, right? And then you build around those guys. Now, the big 3 model isn't really the way to go, but I mean, it's Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis. All right. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would kind of want to see that and see if that played out. Now, the Kevin Durant thing, and I love Kevin Durant, but it just seems to be like kind of haunted or cursed a little bit. Like nobody can stay healthy in Brooklyn. Nobody can stay healthy in Phoenix. It's Davis and Kyrie, 2 very injury-hit guys over their career. And it's Durant, another very injury-hit guy in his career. Like, will this be another big 3 if it happens where they just never really play together because somebody's always hurt? Anyway, theoretically, I like the Dallas thing because if I'm Phoenix, I'm like, give me P.J. Washington and give me Gafford Lively and some stuff, and we got a deal. I would do that right now if I were the Phoenix Suns. They need grit. They need dog. They do. They need identity, right? They don't have an identity right now. You got this ill-fitting, offensively tilted big 3. That's your identity. Your identity is you're a mediocre team, okay? All right, second move for the Suns after the season. Unleash Bull, you dummies, on the NBA. Start him at Kevin Durant's vacated power forward position or go ultra small and put Bull at the 5, okay? Well, he'll get pushed around. I'm tired of hearing the things that he can't do. Okay, there are things LeBron James can't do. LeBron James can't defend at a high level for 35 minutes anymore. Okay, LeBron James has flaws. Steph Curry has flaws. Steph Curry's not a great rebounder. He's not. Steph Curry's prone to having really terrible nights when you trap and blitz him. Okay, he's not perfect. Bull's not perfect. Stop looking at what he can't do and look at what he can do. Y'all need to get that right, okay? Especially you down there in Phoenix because you employ him and deploy him right now. He must play. It's quite obvious you have a star on your hands. These lines are gargantuan, okay? Shot blocking, the 3-ball making, it's an elite skill set. Freaking play him. And he's a low-dough guy, okay? Like, if I'm a team, Andre, help me out. Is Bull going to be a free agent this offseason? Because Bull's going to be a free agent this offseason. He has got to be at least at $10 million per year. 3 years, $30 million, like an Aaron Nesmith level contract. I'd pay him more. I would. I'd give him 45 over 3 years. Come on over here with my team. We're going to play you. We're going to feature you. You're going to be the best player you've ever been in your life on my watch. But Phoenix has to play Bull and feature him. Don't fire Mike Budenholzer. Don't do it. He's a proven winner. You're not. Okay. Talking to you, Matt Ishbia. And you're a winner in life. You're a champion, as they say in life. But in this game, you're not. You don't know what you're doing yet. Mike Budenholzer does, okay? It's not him. It's you. You're the one screwing this up. It is the team you constructed, all right? You can't keep churning and burning coaches like these NFL teams that never go anywhere. Give Coach Bud a duo and a crew, and he can win with that. Coach Bud won several chips in San Antonio. Took the Hawks to the East Finals, won a title with the Bucks. Please do not scapegoat him like Frank Vogel. Thank you. All right, I got to talk about Jimmy Butler here, folks, because the honeymoon is over. The honeymoon with Jimmy Butler is over. And you're like, boy, that was quick. Yep, it's how it goes with Jimmy Butler. Honeymoon is over. Okay, he missed the Saturday game against Philadelphia with a what injury? A mid-back spasm. Okay, insert injury here. It's always something. Didn't play. The Golden State Warriors, who were rolling, lost to Philly, who had lost 9 games in a row. It was the ABC 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time showcase game, and Golden State laid a massive egg, okay? Or was it something worse? Because Jimmy Butler didn't play. Just like the Miami days. We're rolling. We're feeling good. Oh, Jimmy's out. Boo! The whole thing powers down, okay? Jimmy plays when he feels like it. And, and before the DMP, you got to check this out. Because when Jimmy hit Golden State for the All-Star break, it was high and smiling and with the pictures and everything's cool, right? All right. He's gone 25 points, down to 20, then 21, then 19. All-Star break. What happened? He's come back with 17, 18, 6, 5, and a DNP. Where are we going with this, Jimmy? We're going to Jimmy Butlerville, okay? Flip the switch, play when I want, turn it off, and all that kind of stuff, okay? It's not conducive to winning. At this point, Butler's biggest influence on this team is the intangible hope that he has shot into the veins of Steph Curry and Draymond Green, who have believed again, and their play is totally picked up, and they're winning, okay? And now Jimmy's hurt. Buzzkill. Momentum halted. Jimmy Butler is too cool. Jimmy Butler's gone Hollywood. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't see the killer anymore. Where is that guy? Yo, Jimmy, where's that guy? Is he still here? Jimmy's soft now. He's hurt. He's injured. If you were hard, you would play through Hurts. I don't think Jimmy wants to play through Hurts right now. I think Jimmy wants to be 100% and go play. I don't like that. You got to get out there and bust your ass at 75%. Okay? To whom much is giving, much is expected. Much is given, much is expected. You're a max guy, bro. It's like a quarterback in the NFL. You can't miss the game. You can't. But I have a broken ankle. Sorry. We're going to tape it up. We're going to do a better job of protecting you. I need you throwing 30 balls out of our pocket on Sunday. Okay? Okay, cool. I'll go out there and do it. You have to. It's your job. Okay? Football players do it all the time. Play with broken bones all the time. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to play through Hurts. Okay? I don't believe he wants to do that. Jimmy Butler says all the right things. Championship. We're going to win a championship. What the hell do you know about winning a championship? Okay? It's been to 2 finals. I get it. It's not a championship. He has not backed up all of that talk on the court since the incredible finals run in 2023, which was incredible. Okay? That's the last we saw of the badass killer Jimmy Butler. Since then, poof, he's gone away. Okay? I think he got too many flowers during that run. I do. I think it went to his head. Okay? It all changed with him and Pat Riley after that. And Pat Riley always says, I don't like guys that suffer from the disease of me. Jimmy Butler is in a hospital bed dealing with the disease of me right now, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that the Golden State trade for Jimmy Butler was not good or helpful or any of that. It was. It's worked, and they've been winning, okay? But you traded for Jimmy Butler, okay? There's baggage. There's ups and downs. There's ebbs and flows. There's buzzkills. There's high maintenance, okay? Welcome to the party. As they say in Hollywood, what's your motivation, Jimmy Butler? Is it Hollywood? Is it you becoming the next Rob Gronkowski on the basketball side, okay, and transitioning over to that? Or are you still a killer looking to create, mayhem and chaos on the basketball court? Golden State is the 8th scariest team in the West. In no particular order. OKC, Denver, Memphis, Houston. That's 4. LA teams, that's 6. Minnesota, that's 7. Then Golden State. Jimmy makes them a fraudulent paper tiger. If Jimmy were like Jimmy, like the Jimmy versus Giannis in the first round, Jimmy, it's different. But that Jimmy Butler, it's no longer Jimmy Buckets. It's now Jimmy Hollywood. Okay. And Andre, I think I may start rocking that as we do the shows with Brew and we do the shows with Doc. It is the SportsEthos NBA Show with Rick Kamla. Time for my award watch of the week. And it is Coach of the Year. It's Kenny Atkinson. I mean, I'm sorry to my esteemed colleague, Aaron Brewski. Bol is a free agent this offseason. Come and get him. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Ring the dinner bell. Ring the Bol bell, baby. But, with apologies to my guy, Brew, who's got this big bet on Bickerstaff to win Coach of the Year. And in any other year, JB Bickerstaff would be like, he's way out in front. He's got this thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Cleveland's 50-10. They've got an 11.5 plus point differential. They're doing historic things. They're 50-10, man. Atkinson's the Coach of the Year, okay? And look, JB Bickerstaff is a terrific coach, as he is proving this year in Detroit. But Kenny Atkinson's the right coach and the better fit with this Cleveland group. I think, and that's no diss to JB. That just is what it is. And give Kenny Atkinson a ton of credit. I love the point that Scoop made about not taking the Charlotte job, taking more to stay in Golden State, waiting it out for the right opportunity. Bam, the guy's 50-10. Okay, it's unreal. Number 2 is JB Bickerstaff. Duh. I mean, the resurgence of the Detroit Pistons, getting better play out of Cade, getting better, right? Let's give JB some credit for that. This is by far the best version of Cade Cunningham. The killer has completely come out of him. The guy that I saw at Oklahoma State, I didn't always see the first couple of years, right? I am now. I mean, he is a killer out there, just looking to, I gotta win tonight. JB Bickerstaff, let's give him some credit for that. He's got a great role for Tobias Harris. Jalen Durant's having a really good year. Malik Beasley's killing it off of that bench. Okay, Bickerstaff's pushing all the right buttons. Ime Udoka is number 3 for me. The job he's done for Houston, and I know over the last maybe 10 or 15 games, they've been kind of 500 and not that good or whatever. But the start that they got off to, think of all of the games missed here. Van Vliet's missed a bunch of time. Jabari Smith's missed a bunch of time. You've had various bench guys coming in and out. Okay, he's had a lot of adjustments he's had to make. He's number 3. Taylor Jenkins of Memphis is number 4. I mean, to me, he's the most underrated coach in the NBA. Nobody ever talks about this guy. All he does is win. And it doesn't matter who's in his lineup. He's starting 2 rookies. And I know in the last game he started Aldama over Zach Edey. But for most of the year, he has started Jalen Wells and Zach Edey. Okay. With, of course, Jackson, Bain, and Morant. All right. That's really 2 rookies with a okay. They're one of the best teams in the entire NBA. I love Taylor Jenkins. The guy just wins games quietly, under the radar, down there in Memphis. Nobody watches, nobody cares. He's like, that's cool. We got a culture here. His teammates or his players love him. And I've always said, if Memphis ever does something stupid with Taylor Jenkins, and I'm an owner of another, I'm throwing mega money at Taylor Jenkins. Come and coach my team, please. I want your mastery. And then JJ Redick at number 5. Guys, the Lakers are rolling, all right? And I think they're going to run into a buzzsaw in the playoffs called OKC or Denver, but they're rolling right now. Give them the flowers, okay? JJ's had a lot to deal with this year, the Davis-Luka trade. There have been some injuries. LeBron's always on the injury report, right? So they've had some stuff. They're not a super deep team, but JJ Redick's gone with a really Thibodeau, short rotation. It's working. They're winning. And give them a bunch of credit, okay? I was thumbs up on the hire, and a lot of people were banging on it, and I didn't know if it was going to work. I'm not even a big JJ Redick guy. I kind of think he's super, super arrogant, and I'm not into that, right? But, he's got that sort of cool guy strut to him, and he's got the cool hair, and he's a dookie, and so he wants, one of the best 3-point shooters of all time. Very brilliant basketball mind. All right. He thinks he's pretty cool, right? He's pretty arrogant. But it works. If you back it up, I thought Michael Jordan was incredibly arrogant, right? He backed it up, talked all kinds of trash, and nobody could beat him. I mean, it's just it is what it is. If the arrogance is substantiated and founded, well, then, it's when the arrogance is not founded. That's what it's a big problem for me. By the way, shout out to Tyronn Lue and Michael Malone, who didn't make my top 5, but have been absolutely fantastic as well. Couple of camp goodies before we get out of here, guys. Stephon Castle. There's about to be a Rookie of the Year push down in San Antonio. Okay, Stephon Castle has to play 30-plus minutes a game, and he's going to win Rookie of the Year. Okay, guys, over the last 9 games where he's played 30-plus minutes, he scored 20-plus points 8 of those 9 times. The only time he didn't, he had 17. This kid is ready to go, okay? Play him. Get him Rookie of the Year. You will then have back-to-back Rookies of the Year, and I, for one, think that's pretty damn cool. And a shout-out before we get out. It is to the Detroit Pistons, okay? The 8-game winning streak that they went on, it was snapped with that loss to Denver. I'm not mad at him, okay? Cade is having like that second-tier MVP pop, okay? He's got to win. He's not a want-to-win guy. He's a need-to-win guy. I believe Cade Cunningham is the truth. No, I'm not stealing Paul Pierce's nickname. The great Paul Pierce, one of my faves. Beasley is clearly the sixth man of the year. Shout him out. He went to head. Went head-to-head with Peyton Pritchard last week, won in the box score and won in the game and snatched a rebound away from him at the end of the game. That was like, oh, he's your sixth man of the year. Give me that. It was so awesome, Malik Beasley. You're my sixth man. Detroit beat Boston. Huge litmus test, right? I know Boston was on the second of a back-to-back. I get it. I follow this game. Okay, but that's still a win for Detroit against the champs. I thought that was big. Detroit is for real. I'm not sure they're going to win a first-round playoff series, okay? But they are a for-real top 6 team in the Eastern Conference, and everybody there in Motown enjoyed. Big thanks to Brandon Scoopy Robinson for joining the show. Big thanks to my awesome producer, Andre Lemouche, and all of you for listening and watching. Please retweet this. Please give us a like. Go to sportsethos.com and subscribe over there. Go to your favorite app store and download the Sports Ethos app. We are out there with the goodies for you on the fantasy side, NBA, MLB, and NFL as well. I will see you next Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time with the Sports Ethos NBA Show with Rick Kamla. Bye-bye for now.